back, everybody. I hope you're all amazing. We have the Blackstar Debut 50R on the bench today, a 2-channel combo with built-in reverb. This is essentially their entry-level gigging amp. In Australia, these retail for less than 400 Australian dollars, which is pretty impressive. I've paired it up with this Artist Guitars Falcon, which itself retails around the 250 Australian dollar mark. I've got a separate video with this one, and I've mic'd it with a Cascade Fathead, which is going straight into my audio interface. Just want to pull some tones with a rig that I guess you could consider entry level or very affordable. I don't think that necessarily means that you have to compromise on tone these days, as I've discussed on other videos. You know, I have a lot of instruments in here and a lot of high-end instruments, but the gap between something that is really high-end and something which is an entry-level guitar or an entry-level amp has become so much smaller in recent years. So I'm going to start out with the amp, all the controls at noon. This has power scaling, so you can run it at pretty loud 50 watts. I've actually got it down to 5 watts in here, just so I don't blow my left ear out. There's the ISF control on here, which I will start off by turning from noon down to 0 and then up to 10, just so you can hear the effect. But as it is, this is a pretty sweet clean sound to get started with. That is with the ISF at noon. I'll take it down to 0 for you. So it kind of gets brighter and a little more jangly. Let's turn it all the way up to 10 and have a listen to what it does. So it becomes a bit darker. It almost feels a little more compressed under the fingers. I kind of like that at around 1 o'clock. From this particular starting point, I wouldn't mind adding some reverb. You've got a built-in hall or plate reverb. Let's hear the hall at around noon. You can crank this one all the way up to 10, which we will hear in a second. But first, let's go for halfway. There is a bright control on the clean channel, which I've engaged. I've also just nudged the bass up a little bit. This is a short scale guitar with single coils. I think it can really benefit from that extra little bit of low end in there. Hall reverb is now all the way on 10, and this is pretty nice. Let's hear the plate at the same settings. plate's a little darker to my ears anyway, which I kind of like in general with reverb. So I'm going to bring it down to around 1 o'clock on here. On the bridge pickup, you know, it does this pretty well. We'll revisit the clean channel with some drive pedals in just a little bit. I'm going to turn the reverb down to around 9 o'clock over here, and I'm going to engage the drive channel again. Same setting, so the bass is at around 1 o'clock, the treble's at around 11 o'clock, the ISF control is at 1 o'clock. I'm going to play with it though, and mids are still at noon. Let's hear it on the bridge pickup for some crunch. We need to hear that dirt channel with some humbuckers. I've got this Greco Les Paul copy that I've put a Gibson Dirty Fingers in. This is what we get with the same settings. So the bass is, again, above noon. The treble's just below noon. I've got the ISF control cranked all the way up, which is kind of where I like it for these dirty tones. Let's hear it. No solid state amp demo is complete without turning the bass and treble all the way up and the mid down to 0 with the gain on full. Let's go back to the clean channel and hear it with a few drives now. I'm going to try out an Anarchy Audio Workhorse, which is a Klon style pedal, a Boss SD1 and a Crowther. Hot cake, let's start with a Workhorse. let's try the hotcake. Love the SD1 into this. The hotcake was fine, but I think I like the Klon style pedal in front there the most. That kind of had the most amp-like distortion going on there. I want to swap over to the dirty channel now, and I'm going to set up the SD1 with a level all the way up, the drive all the way down, and the tone in the middle, and we'll just see if it can kind of spice this guitar up into this dirty channel a little bit. Let's hear it. You can certainly hear the difference between those two guitars. This is a lot darker and a lot beefier, even with the boost on. Having the boost on there for the dirty channel, I think really helps with this. I like using the ISF control to kind of park the amp into the region where you just kind of like the character mostly. Then you do a little bit of EQ with the 3-band, and then if you've got some pedals, you can run it that way. The built-in reverb is pretty handy as well. That to me is just pretty much set and forget. I personally prefer the plate, but I think some people like the Hall on there. So yeah, for a rig, I mean, the amp and the artist guitar that I was using there, which would probably run you a little over 600 Australian dollars, there's some pretty fantastic tones to be had in there. It's such a good time to be a beginner. Furthermore, you can use this at 5 watts like I have for the majority of this video, or you can put it on the 50 watt mode and crank it up. I actually didn't get it above about 4 out of 10 on 50 watt mode in here because it was just too loud. So be curious to know everybody else's thoughts on this particular amp. Have you got one of these? Is that why you're watching the video? Have you been looking at them? Are there any alternatives that you would consider? I'm always happy to hear from people in the comments. If you like what I'm doing on the channel, check the video description and you can support what I do. A big shout out to CMI here in Australia for loaning me this app so I could make this video. They've been a big supporter of my channel. Send them some love in the comments. Otherwise, I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching.